Okay, today we're going to review some word problems that are going to be similar to word problems that you will see in the near future. So we're going to break these down and solve them. So the first one says a health club has two payment plans. You can become a member for paying a $10 new member fee and use the gym for $5 a visit. Or you can use the gym as a non-member for $7 a visit. Compare the costs of the two payment plans. How many visits do you need to make in order for the cost of a membership to be worth the new member fee? So I've got a member who pays $10 for a new member fee, and then they do $5 a visit. That's per visit. And we remember that per means multiply. So that's important. And then a non-member pays $10 or $7 a visit, and is the same per, and per means multiply, okay? And don't forget we've got this and here, and means add. And we want to know if we compare them. So compare means we make them equal to each other. So compare means equal to each other. So what we're going to do first is we're going to say the member cost equals to the non-member cost. And we're going to figure that out. And there's our train tracks. So the member cost is, we said it's $10, and, which is plus, $5 per visit. And per means we're going to multiply something, and we don't know how many visits we're making. So the unknown is x. We're going to use that variable, and we need to know how many visits. So so it's going to be 5 multiplied by x, which is our number of visits. So 10 represents the fee, and then this is the cost for a visit, and this is the number of visits. And then the non-members pay $7 per visit, and per means times, and number of visits we said was going to be x. So you've got the cost per visit and the number of visits represented here. Then we can solve our equation. We can subtract 5x from both sides. And over here that cancels out, so we have 10 equals 2x over here. And then we can divide both sides by 2. So x equals 5. So at 5 visits, the cost is the same. And we can check that by saying the member cost over here was 10 plus 5x. And if x is 5 visits, we would have 10 plus 5 times 5. That's 25 plus 10. So the cost would be, at 5 visits, it would be $35. And over here, it was 7x. And if we substitute 5 visits for x, we would get $35. So that's the same. So if we go 5 times, it's exactly the same amount. But they want to know how many visits do I need to make in order to make the cost of a membership worth that $10 fee. So I either need to go less times or more times than 5. So either less times or more times. We need to know. So what we can do is we can plug in a number less than 5. So 10 plus 5 times a number less than 5, which we can do 4. And we have 10 plus 20 equals $30. And we'll do the same over here. 7x was our original. We can plug in a number less than 5, which we used 4. And that gives us 28. Well, 30 is greater than 28. So if I go less than 4 times, or less than 5 times, then it's cheaper to be a non-member. Let's see what it is if we go more than 5 times. So more than 5 times would be a number greater than 5. So we have 10 plus 5 times a number greater than 5. We can pick 6. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 10, that's going to be $40. And a non-member price would be 7x, which is 7 times 6 if we pick a number greater than 5, which would give me $42, which means that if I go more than 4 times, it's cheaper to be a member. More than 5 times, it's cheaper to be a member. So in answer to the question, how many visits do you need to make in order for the cost of membership to be worth the fee? I need to go more than 5 times. Because if I go less than 5 times, it's not worth being a member, right? We figured that out down here. Okay? Okay. We have another problem here. A video store charges $8 to rent a video game. So it's $8 per game, right? For 5 days. I get 5 days out of it. Membership to the video store is free. Woo, we like free. A video game club charges $3 to rent a game for 5 days. Okay, that's per game, again. But membership in the club is $50 per year. Compare the costs of the 2 rental plans. So compare means that we need to make them equal to each other. How many videos do you need to rent in order to make the membership worth it? So here we go with, again, how do we make that membership worth it? Okay, so what I'm going to have here is I've got the video store that charges $8 per day, right? And per means times, and day is our unknown, so that's going to be X. So 8 times X, which is the number of days, which we don't know yet. And then C is the daily cost. For a video, and X is the number of days. And then over here, we've got the video game club. And they charge different. They charge $3 per day, so times X, which is our number of days that we don't know yet. And they charge $50 per year, so we have and that extra $50. Okay, so $3 is the cost per video. This is the number of days, and that's the fee, the membership fee. Okay, now I can solve for X to find out when they're equal to each other. That leaves me with 5X equals 50. And then I divide by 5. So X equals 10. So at 10 days, the cost is equal. But that's not what they want to know. They want to know how many videos, I'm sorry, at 10 videos, not days. At 10 videos, this is videos, we made a mistake. That's okay. We'll just fix it. At 10 videos, it's the same cost no matter which one you go with. So we need to know how many videos I need to rent in order to make this one here be worth paying that $50 for. So we can go less than and greater than to figure that out. So let's do less than first. So less than would be a number less than 10, so that would be 9. We can do 9. And that was 8x, so we'll just substitute a 9 in there, and that gives me $72. And on this side, I can do, let's move this thing. I can do 3x plus 50, and we're substituting that with 9. So 3 times 9 plus 50. And then that right there is 27 plus 50 is 73. So it's cheaper to go with this one if it's less than 10. Cheaper to do video store if you're doing less than 10 videos. If you're doing greater than 10 videos, we'll go with 11 because that's a number greater than 10. We'll see what it is here. So we do 8x or 8 times 11 because that number is greater than 10. And that gives me $88. And then this one, I had 3x plus 50 and 3 times 11 because that's a number greater than 10 plus 50 gives me 33 plus 50, which gives me 83. And now look at that. It's cheaper to go here. So if I rent more than 10 videos, it's cheaper to go with the video game club. So in answer to this question, I have to, let's change the color. I have to rent more than 10 videos to make the video club cheaper. All right, we have one more. Here we have a pottery studio. We're going to go to a studio and paint pottery. The total cost of a piece plus an hourly rate, painting rate, for Studio A, it sells the vase for $12. So the vase is $12. And, which we know means plus, lets you paint for $7 per, which we know means times, hour. Okay? Studio B sells a similar vase for $15, and, so that's a plus, lets you paint for $4 per hour, and we know that that means multiply. Set up an equation to compare. Compare means equal the total price at both studios. If I wanted to paint for 3 hours, ooh, that tells me what I want to paint for. Which studio would be cheaper to go to? Okay? Well, first it says compare, so I need to find out when they're equal to each other. So over here I have Studio A. And in Studio A, it costs me $12 for the vase. $12 for the vase, cost of the vase. And, I had an and there, and, so plus $7 per, so I'm going to multiply hour. And I don't know how many hours, so I'm going to use X for hours. So 7 times X. And 7 is cost, and that is number of hours. Cost per hour. And then I've got Studio B. And Studio B charges $15 for that vase. So that's the cost of the vase. And it charges me $4 per hour, so per means multiply, an hour, and we're representing the hours by X. So that's cost per hour and that's number of hours. Okay, and then I can go ahead and solve this. So I've got 7x plus 12 equals 15 plus 4x. I can subtract 4x from both sides, and that leaves me with 15 equals 3x plus 12. And then I can subtract 12 from both sides. That cancels out and leaves me with 3x equals 3, and then I divide both sides by 3. So x equals 1. So it's 1 hour. So now this says if I want 3 hours, so I'm going to substitute 3 in there. Because it wants to know which studio should I go to if I want to paint for 3 hours, which one would be cheaper. So if I go over here, 12 plus 7x, I can substitute 3 in there. 12 plus 7 times 3. That would be 21 plus 12, and that gives me $33. So at Studio A, it costs me $33 to paint for 3 hours. Cost for 3 hours at Studio A. Let's see what the cost is at Studio B. I had 15 plus 4x, and I want to go for 3 hours, so I will plug in a 3 for x. So I'm going to have 12 here plus 15, and that gives me $27. So the cost for 3 hours at Studio B is $27. So it's actually cheaper to go to Studio B. Okay? All right, so I hope that you guys can see how these equations are set up and how you compare two things when you're setting up an equation and are able to decide which one is more cost effective. If you have any questions, please come in for a morning help session before you take your test. Have a great evening.